And here in Washington, we're joined now by Republican Senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham, who've spent a lot of time there. They are also just back from Afghanistan. Let me just start with this video we just saw of this child. State Department's put out a statement condemning the beating. They're demanding a full investigation. But is there anything the United States can do here, Senator McCain, to calm this situation?
Well, this is one case where I do believe that our Secretary of State should go to the region. This is a place, many places I don't think we do play a role. In this case, I think that our Secretary of State, Secretary Kerry, could go to the region and try to maybe do a little shuttle diplomacy. This thing is in danger of spiraling out of control. There's a whole lot of reasons for it, but right now this is a time where the United States could play a constructive role.
Senator Graham?
Well, when you start killing children, you set yourself on a path of it's hard to reverse, and I think a good idea to try to engage and get the parties back into their corners. But one thing about Israel, they will try to investigate, I think, and bring somebody to justice. The other side's not very good at that. Let's
get back to Iraq. What is your take, Senators, on this new video? Is ISIS now trying to scare us? Is the threat to the United States from ISIS growing? I guess those are the two questions I'd have to ask.
Well, according to the Director of National Intelligence, the FBI Director, and most of our intelligence community, ISIS presents a direct threat to the homeland in Syria, now Iraq. Americans and Western Europeans are going to help their cause, and they can flow back here. So yes, they're a direct threat to the homeland, and they're getting much stronger as we speak.
I think it's important to recognize that we did have this situation stabilized thanks to the surge, that we could have left a residual force behind which would have stabilized the situation. This is not like a hurricane or an earthquake. This didn't have to happen. This is a failure of United States policy. And by the way, there still is none that I can discern, either a policy or a strategy to handle this situation. This guy Baghdadi, when he left Camp Bucca, the prison camp that we ran, he said, "See you in New York." We now have the largest and richest enclave of radical terrorism in history that not only encompasses Iraq, as we know, but Iraq and Syria. So we have to look at this as a Syria-Iraq problem. And one of the things that we need to do, of course we want Maliki to be replaced, but we got to stop ISIS first. And that means that we're going to have to do airstrikes, and we need to step up our support for the Free Syrian Army that is really right now getting very badly beaten.
Just one thing, Senator. You say we left. The Iraqis would not sign the Status of Forces Agreement, which would have put troops under our control, under our legal control. Are you just saying we didn't try hard enough to get that agreement?
I'm saying that they were ready to sign. I'm saying that this administration, this president, didn't want to stay, and we were there in Baghdad and in Erbil when they agreed to do it. Now, we were actually there. And the President of the United States would never give them a number of troops and their mission that they wanted to leave behind. The words of General Dempsey in testimony before the Armed Services Committee, it cascaded down to 3,000 people. The President campaigned he was going to get us out, and the President is going to make the same mistake in Afghanistan unless he reverses that decision that he made. You're going to see the same result in Afghanistan. We just came back from there. They feel abandoned.
Senator, do you agree with that?
I think the big fear I have about what we're doing in Afghanistan is that we have great capability now. We can watch a part of the world that is a safe haven for terrorists. 13 years after 9/11, there are more safe havens, there are more terrorist groups with more weapons and more capabilities than before 9/11, and we're having less capability, less presence. If we get down to 1,000 troops by 2017 and dismantle our eyes and ears in Afghanistan and Pakistan, it will haunt us far worse than Iraq. The counterterrorism mission in Afghanistan is a frontline defense for the homeland, and it is being destroyed by this idea of leaving completely in 2017. Mr. President, reverse your course, keep our counterterrorism capabilities in effect to protect us here at home.
We're not advocating combat troops. We're advocating leaving sustaining capability to give them the capabilities that they don't have right now. By the way, one thing different from Iraq, there are two good men now who we hope will resolve their differences and we can get a president of Iraq. That will make a very big difference. Both Ghani and Abdullah are good people.
Bob,
So,
if I could just add,
yeah.
what we're doing on the counterterrorism side, which protects the homeland from Al-Qaeda is not decimated. The groups operating in Pakistan and now Afghanistan are lethal. They're growing. We're about to shut down our ability to detect what they're up to and hit them before they hit us. This literally is insane given the way the world is falling apart.
Well, we'll talk about this al-Baghdadi, if that is who we saw in the film. And do either of you have any doubt that that's who that is?
I have no doubt. And remember, when he left Camp Bucca, the camp that we ran in Iraq, he said, "See you in New York." There's no doubt of what their ambitions are. They state it very clearly. They now have this large enclave, and they are succeeding. And that message is going around, not only around the Arab world, but they're recruiting Muslim extremists as we speak. They're very good at PR.
So we should go after him directly because
It's $10 million on his head. Of course we could, but that's not the point here. If Baghdadi goes, somebody else is going to take his place. It's the situation which we have allowed to deteriorate because we didn't leave troops behind, because of the decision on Syria. There's a long series of events that have taken place which have caused us to be where we are today. And it all goes back to American leadership.
The president is now asking for $500 million in aid for the rebels that are opposing Assad in Syria. Is that going to do it, or is that coming too late?
Not unless we take out Assad's air capability, these terrible barrel bombs, and also give them more weapons than we have them today. 3 years ago, fine. 2 years ago, when the president overruled his entire national security team's recommendation to provide weapons to these people, but now it's not enough, unfortunately.